Namra kachenu, namra njietu, namra kachenu, namra njietu, namra kachenu, namra njietu, namra kachenu, namra njietu.
Namra, serving with passion.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Namra Kachenu, where the focus is on tax, customs and excise matters. My name is Elise Stentlinger and I am honored to be in your company for the next half an hour or so. In recent developments, Namra and MTC to strengthen collaborations. Namibia's Statistics Agency trains Namra and BIPA on International Standard Industrial Classification tool. Namra donates education material in Braille to visually impaired community. All that and more coming to you in just a little while. In an era where effective communication is paramount, organizations recognize the value of learning from one another. On the 25th of April 2024, Namra's Strategic Communications and Support Engagement Team, together with MTC's Corporate Affairs team, had a peer-to-peer discussion. This session centered around focusing on communication, best practices, stakeholder engagement, as well as marketing strategies. Here is a recap of the event.
Now, maybe for a moment I can just speak to Namra Kachenu only. We started, first airing was on the 27th of October 2022. What's the last episode was? What? Episode 35. Mm-hmm. Everything, it has segments to it. The first part talks about what is happening in Namra, what is the latest engagements, wherever we are seeing, heard or doing anything. And that would be about 3-4 insets that play into that. Those are produced here internally. The staff here is the one that produced that insets.
So in terms of departmental set, the subunit setups in the department, we've got events management, that's Beata's there. Then we've got PR, public relations, and also crisis management. It's particularly crisis management exists as a sub part because that becomes now sort of like the responsibility of the MD. When we are faced with a serious crisis, then they step in at EXCO level, but then they have that crisis management core committee that serves, and then we then takes on the advisory role when something serious like that nature happens. For example, when network becomes unavailable because it becomes an issue of service level quality issues. If the network is unavailable for 4 hours, then that impacts not only just you, it impacts national state security, it impacts the aviation sector, it impacts the hospital sector because those ventilator machines and all those things operate on the network.
Sometimes you only have 2 journalists that turn up, and the worst thing that you want to have is a press conference where no journalist turns up, and that would be the worst nightmare, especially for us in PR. And that's why now the subject of media relations really is important. And from our side now, what we try to do is that, for instance, on an annual basis, we then, and I think it's something that most of the colleagues in the industry, communication and PR are doing, where you then have those media engagement events. So what we do, we normally take them out of town and have a 2-day, strategic engagement where we really just try to understand them and allow them also to understand us. And in that way, we're building that positive relationship.
Then we have also the newsletter that we compile. The newsletter is a quarterly edition, so we only have 4 publications in the whole financial year. So those are the stories that we do.
Namra's Information and Communication Technology ICT, together with Business and Intellectual Property Authority BIPA, attended a week-long training initiated by the Namibia Statistics Agency NSA on the adoption of the International Standard Industrial Classification ISIC tool. The main objective of the training is to align business registrations and tax custodians to the international standard to improve the quality of statistics in Namibia.
Okay, my name is Master Palibamwe Ndebero, a senior statistician under the Statistical Business Register of the Namibia Statistic Agency. Namibia Statistic Agency is facilitating a week-long training BIPA, NAMRA, and joint ventures in adopting the ISEC tool, which is referred to as the International Standard Industrial Classification of All Economic Activities. This tool is needed in classifying industrial activities of businesses within the country for us to be able to do statistical comparison at the international scope and regional level. The exercise is undertaken with two institutions mainly, the business registration and the tax custodian, to ensure that their classification of economic activities of businesses are aligned to these international standards and hence improving the quality of statistics of the country. Thank you.
Namibia Revenue Agency NAMRA has taken a significant step toward promoting inclusivity and accessibility to information for the visually impaired. On the 3rd of May 2024, NAMRA handed over essential education material on tax and customs matters in Braille to the Namibian Federation of the Visually Impaired, NFVI.
Going to have information translated on taxation on individual, especially those who earn a salary, pay as you earn, because that is very critical, because you have most of the members who are members of the federation, they also earn a salary. Then we also have information on tax directives, because what we have noted, Honorable Muteka, is that sometimes people earn an income and they do not know what need to be done, how should they be compliant, the submitting of return. But by the time sometimes they are going on retirement or maybe they resign, only for them an assessment to be done, because you need to have a tax directive before your pension is paid out.
We are again calling private or public also to incorporate us in their decision-making bodies. Yes, they say that a person with disabilities, they might not be capable of sitting in committees and in board, but know that we are being disadvantaged in the past. Be our parents, our guardians, that they did not give us opportunities. But now that we woke up, give us opportunities, give us platform, so that we can also be part and a parcel of the decision-making body.
I want to really take my hat off for institutions such as yours to really know the importance of supporting our colleagues. I think when was it that it was last year December, where we were calling for us to change this whole thing of saying people living with disabilities and transform it to people living with special abilities, because they really do have special abilities. And it's about time that we move out of the scope of, sidelining them or feeling sorry for them and treating them like one of us. So really, it's just to say thank you.
And we are also eager to learn. We are also thirsty of information. That's one thing that sometimes people will not understand, because they don't know that being visually impaired is only lack of sight, but a lot more of diversity, a lot more of adventures, because I can actually discover something that a person with sight never thought they would discover. If you take us to a new place right now, I and my colleague will wait for everyone to go in their rooms and we'll walk around. It might be that we will even be the first people to know there's a swimming pool. Then we'll come and direct you. No, we say a swimming pool somewhere. How? Say, no, don't worry. They know how we do it. Say, go right, I'll go left. Then we see what we will discover and what I will discover. So we are so grateful to NAMRA, and also grateful to the leader of the Federation, because these people don't come on their own.
When we return, we will be joined by Ms. Olivia Ngamwa, a specialist in transfer pricing and international taxation division under the Large Taxpayer Unit, Domestic Taxes Department at NAMRA. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and we are now joined by Ms. Olivia Ngamwa, a specialist in transfer pricing and international taxation division under the Large Taxpayer Unit, Domestic Taxes Department at NAMRA. Welcome, Olivia, and thank you so much for joining Namra Kachenu.
Thank you, Elise, and thank you for having me.
Olivia, can you provide us with some insight into your professional background and what has motivated you to join the NAMRA team?
Okay, I started off with Deloitte, doing my audit articles for 3 years. I then qualified as a chartered accountant. Thereafter, I joined the tax department in Deloitte because I've always had a love for tax. I then, over the years, I've developed an interest and understanding in the complexities of the tax field. So what really motivated me to join NAMRA was just a genuine desire to be part of the solution, and also just to apply my skills and knowledge gained over the years to make a meaningful impact in Namibia and Africa at large.
So as a specialist under the Transfer Pricing and International Taxation Subunit, what aspects of transfer pricing and international taxation intrigued you and led you to this role?
What intrigued me most about the role is really the opportunities that transfer pricing present in combating illicit financial flows and addressing base erosion and profit shifting. And as we know, base erosion and illicit financial flows undermines the integrity of the tax system. And it also has far-reaching implications on the revenue generation, economic development, and social equity of the country, especially for developing countries, and Namibia is no exception. So the role offers an opportunity to contribute meaningfully to tax transparency and accountability in global financial transactions to ensure that Namibia benefits fairly from multinational business activities in the country.
So can you explain to us transfer pricing in simple terms?
So in simple terms, transfer pricing is the agreed price between two companies that are related to each other. And that's a price on cross-border transactions. So this will be a Namibian company transacting with a non-Namibian company, and those two companies are related. So the principle is that that agreed price must be arm's length. And so it must be what an independent party will want to pay, or put in a different way, it must be what a willing buyer and a willing seller will agree to. So the transfer pricing is important because it affects how profits are allocated between multinational companies, and consequently how much tax is being paid in each country. So it's important that multinational companies pay their fair share of taxes in the countries that they are operating in.
So can you also tell us how are these cases dealt with?
So the cases are dealt with through audits and investigations. And we also have a close collaboration with other tax authorities to exchange information, and that we do via legal instruments.
Okay, so as we conclude, is there anything that you would like to encourage our viewers to consider?
Yes, certainly. So compliance with transfer pricing laws is not just a legal requirement. It also demonstrates your commitment to ethical business principles and responsible corporate citizenship. In addition, transfer pricing compliance also contributes to fair and transparent tax system, which is necessary for promoting economic growth and social development. So all multinational companies in Namibia are encouraged to ensure that their cross-border transactions are priced in line with the arm's length principle, and that they maintain accurate transfer pricing documentation.
Well, and thank you so much, Olivia, for taking out the time today to come and talk to us about transfer pricing. We are very grateful here at NAMRA Kachenu.
Thank you for having me.
So, and that was Olivia Ngamwa, a specialist in transfer pricing and international taxation division. We will be right back after this. Now let's focus on the upcoming individual for salaried person or pensioners due date and the requirements from the taxpayers.
Hi, my name is Phila Milima, Supervisor Namra Daycare Service Center. As we are approaching the submission due date for individual salaried and pensioner return, which is due on the 30th of June 2024, it is important that you take note of the following. You may submit your tax returns online through the ITAS e-service portal. To register or access the e-service portal, you may visit the NAMRA website at www.namra.org.na or simply type in ITAS portal into your web browser. Assistance in submitting your tax return, you may visit the NAMRA Daycare Service Center or visit the nearest NAMRA office. Make sure to bring along your payee file, identification card, or a valid passport. We urge all employers to update their monthly employees' tax return for the year 2024 before the 30th of June 2024 to enable employees to submit their tax returns on time. For further inquiries, you may contact the NAMRA call center at 081-959-4000. Thank you.
In the next insert, we will look at the procedure for rejected permanent exports.
Good day. Today we are explaining the procedure of returning rejected goods due to non-compliance. Normally when you are importing goods, there are those goods that are subjected to import permit, or it can be licenses. For example, it can be communication devices such as phones that may require type approval, certificates or permits from competent authorities such as the Communication Regulatory Authority of Namibia, CRAN. In other instances, for example, when a trader has to import agricultural products, they are as well subjected to, it can be import permit that can be applied and obtained at the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, as well as the phytosanitary certificate that is obtainable from the country of exportation. In cases now where the said requirements could not be met, such goods are treated then as rejected goods by the competent authority in the country of importation. Then now what happens? The trader have the authority or have the right to return back such goods to the country of origin, and this is done as per the regulation or Article 10.8 as per the World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement that Namibia have ratified too. After the competent authority have provide the rejected letter to the trader then present it to Customs and Excise officials at the point of exit. Next, the verification then need to take place by Customs and Excise officials together with the owner of the goods as well as the appointed clearing agent. Thereafter, the goods, which are the rejected goods, are then escorted to the to the departure point and further exported to the country of origin. In conclusion, we are then urging the traders to ensure that those goods that they may be imported and may be subjected then to permits or licenses, they then have to visit our NAMRA Customs and Excise offices countrywide or any competent authority depending on the goods that they may import. That will really fasten the process or the clearance process. And thank you for listening.
Here is the trivia of duties.
Did you know For transfer pricing purposes, cross-border transactions between two related parties should be at arm's length, meaning the price at which two independent parties will be willing to transact.
Namra, serving with passion.
Do you want to make a payment for tax debt? Here are the available options for payment.
My name is Angela Kamui, Senior Revenue Treasury Officer at NAMRA. I'm going to take you through the process of making payments to our NAMRA offices. We have 4 modes of payments which are acceptable at our offices, which are direct deposits, cash payments, electronic fund transfers, and speed points machines. When making electronic fund transfers, we have 2 accounts available for our taxpayers, which is Receiver of Revenue, account 165001, and the VAT dedicated account 165060. When making a direct deposit, our taxpayers need to fill this deposit slip at their commercial bank. You need to have your TIN with you. The TIN consists of 8 characters, and then you should also know the period that you are making the payment for. When making an electronic fund transfer, for your penalty or interest liability due to NAMRA, you use the EFT referencing example as shown on the screen. It also has 19 characters, but on the text type and text period, you put 999, indicating that the payment is account payment. When making electronic fund transfers, EFT referencing example is shown on the screen, which comprises of 19 characters. The taxpayer reference number comprises of 5 parameters, which are as follows. 1. Represent the payment method, in this case EFT payment. 06. Office of registration or your return office. The 8th character represents your tax identification number. 14 tax type, in this case employees tax. 2018-06 is the tax period for which the payment is meant for.
In our previous episode, we asked, what are the documents required when applying for exemption as a returning student who are studying abroad? The required documents are as follows: a copy of your passport or identification document, a copy of permanent resident permit, a copy of employment permit if employed, a copy of study permit, a copy of marriage certificate if married, copy of domicile certificate, a copy of vehicle registration and its value if you have acquired a vehicle, detailed packing list including value of goods. Our question for this episode is, what is transfer pricing? Kindly email your answer to namrakachenu@namra.org.na. The due date for submission is the 23rd of May 2024. The winner will be announced in the next episode.
And with that, we conclude this edition of Namra Kachenu. We trust that the information shared has been both valuable and insightful. Join us again in 2 weeks for the latest updates. Until then, stay informed, stay compliant, and goodbye.